We've got it. There are the two of them together. Much great joy from my side. I haven't spent any time with Tlalamba for a long time, and so I'm very much looking forward now to spending some quality time with them as they feed on that Nyala. We will of course not be looking at them after dark because movement around there may attract hyenas, which we don't want at all. And as Taxon has just said on the radio, she will not be able to hoist that kill. It's going to be too big for her. I think, Ferg, we should follow the same path we followed. Anyway, the cub just popped out of the little thickets over here, and now they've turned. They greeted each other relatively fondly, not quite as fondly as they used to, I suppose, but that's normal as the cub gets older. And now they're on their way back to supper, after a very meagre breakfast, must be said. The light is just superb. I'm sure those elephants looked beyond gorgeous in this light. I can't see her anymore. She's somewhere around here. She'll just keep going, I think. I don't think we need to worry too much. We'll travel at roughly the speed that they're travelling. You see them at all there, folk? Yes, I agree. All of you who are commenting on how big Tlalamba has become, she certainly is growing at a rate of knots. Where are they? You got them? Wait here? We'll wait here for a shot, Fergus. Oh, there they are. Marvellous. It'd be quite nice if they came out into that little open spot. And
it's not hitting her marks. So.
No, she's not hitting her mark. She's very poorly trained as an actress. Oh, up on the tree there. This little Tlalamba had a little bit of a dart. Yes, I think Louise is correct. She says perhaps I could teach Tlalamba a thing or two about tree climbing. I would have to agree. I'm obviously the world's greatest tree climber. Far better than any leopard. Oh, that's very kind, Louisa. She didn't mean tree climbing lessons. She thought I should give her acting lessons. Well, I'm not sure Fergus would agree that I always hit my marks. That's where you say, no, you always hit your marks. Fergus? Yes. Yes. Yes, I can be a little over-dramatic. You think I overact, Fergus? Oh, how magic. Look, little thing. Yeah, Jamie, Tlalamba would have been weaned off milk around about 3 months. That's when the weaning starts. And so she'd have been on the meat, as it were, for about, well, I mean, from as early as 2 months they'll start eating meat. But she'd have been on an exclusively meat diet probably for the last 4 months or so. They still try and suckle for a month or two after they've been weaned. But weaning happens very fast. It's, I guess, easier for the mother to provide nutrition through killing rather than through the expensive process of lactation. Up to a year. 8 months. She is very sweet. Look at that. Well, there's a bit of both, I think. You know, I think it's instinctual planning. So the instinct is to get that carcass under cover where nothing can see it. Do they learn where's a good place to put it and where's a bad place to put it? Yes, I'm sure they do. I'm sure through a process of elimination and through a process of losing kills to vultures and being found out by hyenas and that sort of thing, they learn to hoist and learn to put their kills or secret them under bushes. So I think it's an instinct to hide the kill, but I think it's a learned behavior to master it, if you like. Just like in human beings, a little bit like in human beings, we are programmed to language, and every human being in the world is programmed to learn a language, and what language that is depends on your experience. So I think it's probably quite similar. Every leopard in the world is programmed to hide their kills. Where and how they hide them is probably not defined by their genetics, but rather by their experience and their learning. Oh, this is marvellous. Now, Tlalamba, of course, ate a small hare earlier today. I told the kids that were watching earlier it was a rabbit. It's just because it's much easier than to explaining. I mean, I accept that the 4-year-old might know what a rabbit is, but a hare, well, the difference between the two would become far too complicated for me to try and explain. The reason I mention that is that she doesn't look particularly ravenous. Mike, that tends to be the case, you know. You say you don't think you've ever seen them feeding at the same time before. That's not unusual. In my experience, in fact, it's quite common for one to feed and then the other to feed. And when we were watching Shungile and Hosana, and for those of you who are new viewers, those were very special leopards that we watched growing up from very young. One of them since died and one of them has moved off. But they didn't used to feed often together. They would wait. Their mother would eat on her own. Then they would eat on their own. And so sharing is not so much caring in the leopard world. Because if they learn to share too well, I guess they won't eat so well later on in life. Most of the animals out here tend to be fairly selfish about their feeding. They have to be. Tlalamba is hiding there. Doesn't want to come out and have her meal. I mean, if I'd prepared a Nyala meal for my child, I'd be very upset. Sorry, Louise, I missed that. What was it? Louise, I think, hinting that in our camp we have fairly fussy eaters as well. We certainly do. Well, it's getting pretty dark now. And that doesn't mean we have to leave just yet. But the sun has gone, and we won't be here after dark, everybody. We will be leaving. Just because our presence here is probably going to, or could attract hyenas and other predators. All right, let's head across to Stivova, who must be on his little path home. He's got the sun to show you. I'm so chuffed with my sighting, very chuffed. The leopard is approaching the kill. The cub leopard is approaching the kill. Very gingerly, must be said. Isn't she just dear? She's very dear. I think Thandi just growled at her, actually. Now still, she has not opened the abdominal cavity, in which the nutrition of the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, if she can get through the ribs. I suppose that's the thoracic cavity, but what I mean, stomach, gallbladder, pancreas, all those spleen, delicious things. Which I think is purely a function of the fact that she does not want to attract anything in the way of scavengers. Yeah, she's trying to approach, but you can see she's quite nervous. The whole time you've been gone chasing the sun with Taylor, she's been asleep. She just got up now. And it made me think that she wasn't actually very hungry, but I'm sure that that's true. I'm increasingly suspicious that she's just nervous of her mum, actually. Nervous of trying to eat with her mother. I would be terrified of trying to eat with Thandi. She's not exactly friendly. Well, I have to agree, Miss Anamandris, she does look so mischievous. That is, of course, why her name is mischievous in Shangaan, Tlalamba, which means the playful or mischievous one. She's looking hungry now. Seems like she's missing out. There we go. Building up the courage to approach her mother. I'm thankful that I've never had to approach my mother in the same manner. My mother has never been quite as vicious as Thandi. Well, on occasion, but not very seldom. Now she's kind of pretending she isn't approaching. But she is definitely trying to approach. Come on, little girl, be brave. Oh, that's too sweet. Look at that. Look at the colours. Isn't that beautiful? I'm assuming you've pushed the record button, Fergus. The reason I'm asking that is because I'm holding my breath. Because if I breathe, the vehicle will move. Oh, look at this. This is very special. Now she, with no experience at all, look at that. She's gone straight for the belly. So she's got no experience of where to go when you don't want to attract predators. She's going to open the abdominal cavity if her mother doesn't move. Mother giving her a hiss. Going... Now let's see if she actually gets through it. This is where, of course, the mother will not instruct. She's not like she's going to slap her away from the belly. Now she's ready to open the belly herself, maybe to feed Tlalamba. Yes, a bit of a growl. Now, a lot of people have mentioned that this is how their interactions are going these days. Yeah, losing patience. Well, certainly Mum's losing patience with her cub. Now she's going to play with the tail for a while. Hopefully Mum will open up the carcass for her. That's very sweet. I often wonder if it's, and I'm sure I've been asked this, I often wonder if it's harder for little cubs that are born without siblings. They don't have quite the stimulation of ones that do have siblings. They don't have quite the same playtime. And so their learning must inevitably be not quite as fast, I imagine. Well, now, Louise is asking the question, do you think that Thandi chewed off the tail intentionally for Tlalamba to play with? I would go with no, but it's not impossible, I suppose. don't really see why she shouldn't have. Except that I'm not sure that she's necessarily that thoughtful. But that cub is now having a great play. Now we're going for the belly again. We've still got a bit of light here. I think we've probably got another 10 minutes or so before we'd have to move. She's struggling a little bit there. Doesn't really know what to do. Thandi's still pulling off the hair. You're going to have to do a better job than that, my dear. Pangolin, we think... I mean, look, it's impossible to say exactly, but it's not unusual for a female leopard cub to survive from, around about a year, in fact even before 10 months or so, on their own without mum. So that's not impossible. But between a year and 18 months, the separation will start to take place, but she could be around for up to 2 years. It really does depend on what territory is available to her. Now Shadulu, of course, is off in the west, occupying Shadow's old territory. I don't know. To the east is, of course, or basically from here to the east is Thandi's territory, and east of that is, what's her name again? Oh dear. No, the child's to the south of that. Come on, the old leopard, Sunset Bend females, granddaughter. 4-4 spot pattern. No, Soliesh is long dead. No, the one that lives on Cheetah Plains. Come on, I mean, this is ridiculous. Native with quarantine. There we go, thank you. Nkanyeni, thank you, Louise. Nkanyeni is off to the east and into the Kruger. But what's north of Torchwood and into Buffelshoek, I don't know. So I suspect that's where she's going to have to look. She might also wedge herself kind of between Shadulu and Thandi. Bella, most female mammals are single mums. That's basically how they live. Some of them are single mums with slightly more social bents than the female leopard, so I don't know what's a good example. Warthog. Warthogs will give birth often with another female or so, but each warthog is left to raise their own kids. There are no fathers involved. All the cats, female cheetahs the same, lions the exception. There are a lot of single mum mammals in the world. Most of them, in fact, what's interesting though, a lot of them are not hugely territorial themselves. So they do. Not all animals are not all mammals are solitary like this one is. A lot of the predators are. A lot of the cats. But they're not all solitary, and so they do have not so much the help of friends, if you like, but they do have the, what was I going to say? They do have the comfort and, of course, the extra eyes to avoid predation that a leopard doesn't have. Well, we'll sit here for a little bit longer. In the meantime, Taylor's found something that I'm trying to think of something original to say. I've failed. Let's go and see what she's got. Well, yes, we've got 5 minutes left, so we'll just sit here for 5 minutes and enjoy Thandi and Tlalamba as they share their Nyala. Now, I don't know if you've been with us all afternoon, just to give you a little summary of what took place here earlier today. We watched Thandi kill a young Nyala bull I would say weighing in at round about 70 kilograms or so, so almost double her mass. That's why it's out in the open there, a bit heavy for her to move it too far from where it is now. She then fed a little bit from the hindquarters and then went off to fetch little Tlalamba, who is feeding into the left-hand side of your screen there. There she is. Now she's been trying to get into the sort of rich underbelly of the Nyala, but thus far Thandi has refused to open it up for her, so now she's going to re-kill the Nyala by swatting it and biting it on the face. There she is, learning and plying her trade. It's very interesting. I don't know what her spot pattern is. See that now? She's just playing with her meal. Does anybody know what her spot pattern is yet? Looked almost like there were 6 spots that side. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's a unique spot, well, it's not that unique, but it's relatively unique spot pattern just above the whisker line. Her mother's 3-3. There we go, now she's opening the belly. She's using her carnassial teeth, which are the cutting molars, to sort of slice it open. There we go, there we go. Here it comes. Ferg, you know what? Let me just sneak very slightly forward. I think you'll get a slightly better view just before we leave. Sorry about the scraping. How's that, Ferg? All right. Thank you, Kia. You say Tlalamba has a 5-5 spot pattern. That's quite nice, because just about all the leopards we've had born and visiting us for the last little while have been 3-3. Look at those vicious little claws. Yes, now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, very similar to her father, of course, who was also 5-5. Look at that. She's trying to eat the lip off the Nyala, which I can't believe is the best thing to be doing. Oh, really? Of all the things to eat, little leopard. The claws are quite something. She's practicing there the sort of choke hold over the muzzle. Let's just see quickly if Thandi's opened it up. Not quite. She's still cutting away, sawing away at the hard skin. She's just about got it open. In there is the real nutrition. There we go. You heard it pop. Did you hear it pop? It went choop. No, Siddharth, she's not going to hoist this. It's too big. It's too big. So you heard the little popping sound. That was the popping of the abdominal cavity. Poor little kudu, at least poor little Nyala. There we go. What she doesn't want to do is pop the stomach, because then there will be enough. Alright, everybody, I'm afraid as the stomach gets opened up, the chances of attracting scavengers becomes higher and higher. So we're going to leave. Alrighty, what an unbelievable afternoon we've had. Utterly spectacular. Hugely grateful to our Lady Thandi there. And we'll pull out now.